Okay. All right. So we'll get started. And then if other people start hopping on, they can always catch the recording for that beginning part. So we're chatting about growing your following on Instagram today, which I feel like is a huge thing, especially with the loss of Captivate. And just like how to do that manually now by yourself without any services helping you. But before I start getting into that, I do want to touch on all of the other team calls that we've had so far through the month of August. So we've had, I think, 5 team calls because we had one at the end of July. So we've had 5 team calls total. And if you guys or anybody who's watching the recording of this one has missed any of those team calls, I really want you guys to go back and watch those because if you're not doing those things, then growing your Instagram is going to do nothing for you. It will literally not help you to grow your Instagram if you're not doing the things that we've been talking about in our other team calls. So I just wanted to refresh our memories about all the different team calls that we had. And I had them pulled up here, but it went away. So let me grab them really quick. Okay. Okay, so the first one that we went through, our very first team call together, which was amazing, was all about storytelling and how to bring you and yourself to your page and like what to be posting about. And we gave you guys the assignment of finding those 5 or 6 things about you that make you who you are. So whether that's keeping that on a sticky note or rewriting them every single week to keep that fresh in your head, talking about those 5 things about you, we should see those on your pages. And just so everybody knows, Joy and I have been checking on all of our coaches' pages to see like the progress if you guys are implementing these things. And so we want you guys to continue using these, and we're happy to provide feedback for you if you want feedback on your page to see like if you're still incorporating all of those things. Ooh, I might sneeze. Okay. So telling the story through who you are and through your Instagram feed is really, really important. So go back and watch that team call if you need a little bit of a refresher on how to do that. The second team call was all about planning your content out. So using a calendar. If you are really busy, this is something that I've had to start adjusting to that I still am trying to get the hang of with being back in school. This is our 3rd, I think, full week of being back in school from the summertime. So really taking Sundays to sit down and plan out my week ahead is going to be everything for me for continuing my business the way it's going. I've definitely felt a very slow, like I've kind of like hit a wall with my business and like everything has slowed down since school has started, but that's because I'm not planning my content out like I used to. So really getting back to that. So, going back to those team calls to remind myself of like, what are the things I need to do to plan my week out? And then our next team call was, the next 2 team calls were all about stories and how to, the things you should be putting in your stories, all of the different options that you have. There should be a poll or some sort of interaction in your story every single day, whether it is a call to action for coaching or for your boot camps or just for engagement, period, to get people interacted. Because if I'm talking about growing your following, it's going to do no good if you have nothing for them to see. If you're not showing up in your stories daily, nobody's going to follow you back. And then our last one, not this past week, but the week before that, was all about inviting and how to invite, where to find people to invite. And again, if you're not doing the invites for the people you already have, then growing your Instagram, having new people, you're never going to be reaching out to them either because you're not already doing that with the people you currently have. So those topics that we've talked about, we've put them in a very specific order for you guys because that's, if you're not doing this, then you can't do this, and then you can't do this, and then you can't add on this. And we haven't even talked about filters on pictures because honestly, none of that matters if you're not doing any of the other things. So that's why it is so important, like all these calls that we have, Joy and I have put a lot of planning into them, to making sure that they're in a good order for you guys to either refresh your memories if you've been coaching for a little bit, or to kind of give you guys some new ideas and remember all of those things that we've talked about with coaching before. So make sure you go back and watch those team calls. Even if you were on for those team calls, it might be a good idea. Like I might need to go back to that planning content one, just to refresh my memory, get me in the groove of doing that again, to get my business going now that I'm back for the school year. So that was a little bit of a refresher from all of our team calls. Now I'm going to jump into growing your following. There are two things I'm going to talk about with growing your following. And before I talk about those two different ways to grow your following, the first thing is Captivate is done. So if hopefully none of you guys are using Captivate, it still works to like log into it and you can see things from there. So it might be helpful with some of the features they have, but as far as following people, absolutely not. We should not be using Captivate to follow anybody, because Instagram will shut your account down. They do not want third-party people promoting your page or using any third-party people to help grow your Instagram. They want everything on Instagram to be authentic, which makes sense. That's the world of Instagram. That's social media. They want everything to be real, raw, and authentic, which is what we're trying to do as well. We want to be true to ourselves. So no Captivate. Joy and I both have had experiences with Jumper Media. And Joy had a lot of success with it earlier in the year, but I recently started using Jumper Media, which is a company you can pay to grow your Instagram and your following, like Captivate, but it's not the free version. And it is a complete flop. Do not waste your money. Do not spend any money on any third party anything, because Instagram is literally cracking down so hard on any company trying to grow social media for you that like literally no services are working. So don't waste your money. Don't even look into any of that stuff. Like it's just a big waste of time. But you can grow your Instagram authentically and by yourself and manually. It is going to take time. So you have to be patient and you have to be willing to be consistent with this, just like you're consistent with your workouts and your nutrition. Just doing a little bit of this every single day is going to really help grow your Instagram. It will be a lot slower than Captivate was, because you don't physically have the time in the day to do all of that stuff, but it's going to work just like Captivate did. So the first way that I grow my social media, or grow my Instagram, I'm going to go on my Instagram for you guys. Okay, so the first way that you can go about growing your Instagram following is by going to your followers. So just go to your profile, go to your followers, and look at who's following you. I would almost even go to maybe like your posts, your recent posts, and see who's interacting with your profile. See who's consistently liking your pictures. See who's watching your stories. Those people are the ones who are attracted to you. You may have been inviting them a couple of times the past couple of months, but those are your people, and those are the people that are going to eventually join our boot camps or join you as a coach. But you want to find those people that are either engaging in your profile on a regular basis and they look like your type of people, or you can just go to your entire following and just start scrolling through and look at their pictures, and you guys can probably tell just from looking at a picture like, oh, that's my type of person. For me personally, I used to look for girls in wedding dresses, because that meant that they were recently married. They maybe are trying to start a family soon, don't probably have kids yet because they just got married, which is like the similar place in my life that I am now. Now I might be looking for somebody with being pregnant. I might be looking for a profile picture that has a mom with her baby, like a baby, like a very young infant baby, because that's the point in my life that I'm going to be entering. So you want to find pictures that represent who you are for those people, because that's who your people are going to be. Once you find one of those people, I would just go to their profile. So I'm just going to choose this girl. She's got a picture of her with her dog. So I click on her profile. And it is a public profile. You want to find somebody that has a public profile so you can see their stuff if they're following you but you're not following back. And then what I do, just like Captivate, how I used to use Captivate, is I would go to their followers. So who's following the person that is similar to me? Okay, so then I would click on their followers, and then I would do the same exact thing, and I would just look for people that looked like me, like my people. And all I would do is go down the list, and I would just click follow, 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 just like Captivate would do. There is a maximum number that you can do per Instagram regulations, and I want to say it's 50 within a certain time period, and I don't exactly know what that is, but if you're taking your time and looking for your people, you're not probably going to reach that or have enough time to be able to do that. But I want to say it's 50 follows within an hour. I'm not 100% on that though. So what I would do is I would just look for people that look like me, like younger girls that are maybe in a wedding dress or are camping. That's something that I enjoy doing, that have dogs, that are with their girlfriends, anything that would be like me. And I just go through and follow them. And that would be basically just like mimicking what Captivate would do, is they would just go and follow all the people that you chose. That's exactly what you're doing, but you have to take your own time to do it. So it's going to take a little bit longer. So I would maybe set a timer for like 15, 20 minutes a day. Like literally just go to Google, say 15-minute timer or 20-minute timer, and just sit down, hang out on the couch, and just go through and just find people to follow. Those people are going to then look at your page and then see if they want to follow you back. And the hope is that you have good content on your page, implementing all the things from our other team calls, that they're going to want to follow you back. They're going to like your vibe. They're going to feel like you are also their type of person, and they're going to follow you back. So that is one way of going about this, which is similar to Captivate. The second way would be to do just what I was saying, except you don't do that last step of following those people. So if you don't want your like who you are following, if you don't want that number to keep getting bigger, something that you can do is go to your followers again, find somebody who looks similar to you. Private. Okay, here's one. And then you go to their followers again. And it's basically just another way to find like a group of people that are similar to you. And then you go to their profiles, and if you find somebody that you think looks like you or is your type of person, you can click on them. You want them to be a public profile so that you can see their feed. So if you can see their feed, then what you would do next, if it's a public profile, is you would like about 5 of their recent pictures, comment on a couple of them, and maybe send them a message. That message part you don't have to necessarily do, but basically you're just blasting their notifications. So they're going to open their phone and have a notification from Ashley, and they're going to be like, who is this person? So they're going to click on my profile, and they're going to see my Instagram profile, and they're going to choose to either like or not like, or follow or not follow my profile. So the hope again is that they are going to follow your profile, that they feel your content is good, and they're going to want to follow you. So that's without having to follow them. So you haven't followed them. You've just been engaging with their feed without adding another person that you're following, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense how I'm saying that. So those 2 ways are like my 2 ways that I would go about. And you can even alternate, like maybe one day you do it where you're following a bunch of people. I think that one goes a little bit quicker. But then the other one with engaging with them and not following them, that's going to take a little bit more time to find those public profiles of the girls who look like you. So you could alternate days. You could do some like 1 week and then the other type another week. Joy?
Raise my hand. Okay, so I have a lot of questions about this.
Yes.
Number one, I put a question in the chat, but which way do you feel is better? Have you done both of these?
I've done a lot more of just following them, and not doing like the engaging one. But that's because, I mean, the past month or two, I've been relying on Jumper, which has done nothing. So I honestly haven't done this in a couple months. But when I was doing it, I was just doing the follow, like just following a bunch of girls. And then at that time, Cleaner, the app Cleaner, is still, and from what I hear now, is still working. For some people, I've heard it's not, but it's not anything that I think Instagram has like flagged. So you can still clean your followers, like who you're following, with the app Cleaner, to lower your following.
That's what I was gonna get there. You can just go back in and unfollow the people like after a few days or whatever if they're not following you, like to clean up your people that you're following. Like you can still do that, right? If you do the first way.
Yep, for sure. You can go into who you're following, and if they're not following you, then just unfollow.
Okay, and then what do you think is, like, just to get an idea, like, because you've done this, what's a reasonable amount of people, like, if you set your timer for 15 minutes, and you're doing it, like, the first way, what's a reasonable amount of people that you could be able to follow?
The people that I have on my Instagram, that I like, the profiles that I come across, usually have like this girl has 870 followers. So to go through all of those, it takes some time, but I don't have a lot of people that have like 2,000 followers, because I try to keep them all lower. But if I go through all of them, there's maybe like 10, 15 in her followers that are like my people. And that will take a while to get through all 800 of them. I'd probably go through 2 and maybe start on a third profile of followers. So like I get through 2 whole lists of them, and then I probably will start like a third one, before my timer of like 15, 20 minutes runs out. So maybe like I'm getting like 30 the people that I'm following. Like good people though, you guys. This is not like, oh, I'm just going to follow all the girls on her thing, because those are not your people. You don't want them. They're not going to ever follow you back because they're not your people. It's a waste of time. So really like looking for my people, I probably get like 20, 30 that I follow within a 20-minute period.
Okay, and then my other question was about the public profiles, because I feel like a lot of people don't have public. Like I can't see their stuff unless I actually follow them.
So if their profile picture looks good enough for me to follow, then I'll follow it. If it's like I'm not really sure, then move on. Go to the next one.
You're just going to follow the people that look well worth it. And then if you check them out and they're not, you can obviously just unfollow, right?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I think it's personally, if their profile picture looks like your type of people, it's worth it to give it a shot. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? They don't follow you back. Not a big deal. But I try to do more public that I can. But when I'm doing like the, just following a bunch of people, I don't go to their profiles necessarily, unless it's like a iffy person. Like I'm just going through and I'm like, okay, her. So I just followed her. Well, this girl's definitely not got followers that are like me, so I'm not going to follow any of them. But I just basically go through and I just hit follow. But only to the people that are like my type of people. So there are some that are not public, but sometimes I don't even know about it unless you're doing the engagement method where you want to go and like their pictures. You could even do both, like their pictures and follow them, if it's a public profile. That way they're seeing the interaction, they're seeing that you enjoy their content, and you're following them now. That's going to be more likely for them to follow you back.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, this would be good for all of us as a team to kind of try both ways and see like which one we all think is more beneficial, since Instagram is just crazy and wants everybody to do it organically, like we can share with each other as a team to know like which way is better. So we can keep that for next time. Just
yeah, for sure. Another way to do this with the same method that I'm doing, but another place to go look for these people that are going to be like you is in your, what is it? I don't forget what this is called. Where you like the search place, whatever that's called. When you search, those are all things that like you've liked before. They're basically pulling all the interests of things that you like and enjoy. So if you're watching a bunch of coaches, of Beachbody coaches, you're just going to see Beachbody coaches, and you don't want that. So stop watching Beachbody coaches and liking their things if that's what you guys are doing, because this whole feed is going to be filled with Beachbody coaches, and then you're not going to be able to find your people as easily. You're going to be finding their people. So lately I've had a lot of baby things on mine, family things on mine. And so going through there, like if I really like this pregnancy photo, with this girl and her husband, and then like their cute little picture and whatever, she has 3,300 likes on that photo. I'm going to click on all those likes, and I'm going to look through those profiles. Those are probably other moms. Those are probably other pregnant people. Those are probably other people that are married. So just going through there and liking those people as well, that's another place you can go. If you search certain hashtags, like for me, teacher hashtags are big too. Like if you find like a big teacher profile or account, because teachers have like really big Instagrams, if you go to theirs and then just go to their followers or the people who are liking and engaging with their pictures, those are people who would like and engage with your pictures as well. So going through those likes. So if you are a runner, a good thing to do would be to find a running Instagram account, like a person who is really big into running, they have a big following, or just looking up runner hashtags, things like that. Like Aubrey, I know you have a wedding coming up soon, so looking up wedding hashtags, sweating for the wedding, anything like that, and then finding those big, like really nice accounts that have a lot of followers on them, going to a picture that you really like and feel connected to, and then going to all of those likes and going through those people. Those are going to be your wedding people, the people that are in the same place in life as you are. And that's how you're going to also, another way that you guys can find your type of people. So those are just a couple different places to go. So if you guys have questions, you can pop them in the chat. I see there's one. I got Joy's already. Yeah, so Instagram, it says Instagram always wants to promote my pictures to get a lot of likes. They do that if they see that your picture is doing better than most of your other pictures. So like if you happen to get like so many likes, like on average, then all of a sudden you have a picture that has like way more likes than others. Instagram is going to be like, "Ooh, people like that. You should promote that to get more follows." If it's not a picture that has anything to do with coaching or breadcrumbs or boot camps, I personally would not promote that. So Instagram's doing it more from like a business side, that they're like, "Hey, this picture is doing well. You should promote this." That's more from like Instagram wants to make money by you putting money on that post to promote it. But if it doesn't have anything to do with helping you make money, then I probably personally wouldn't promote it. But there are good, like if you make a really good call to action, or even like a really good breadcrumb, those would be good things to promote. I don't personally know much about promoting or how to have a successful promotion or who to market it to. I'm the wrong person to ask for that. I have not had success with promoting my posts, but I know some people have had a lot of success. So kind of like trial and error with those, which means you have to put money on them. So any other questions, you guys, about growing or where to find people? Was this helpful at all? I hope.
yes.
I'm out of breath, I feel like, from talking so much.
I just want to say thank you, because I don't know how to do all this stuff because like Ashley said, like I've relied on Jumper Media for months, and now that they are pretty much out of the picture, this is something that I'm going to have to continually learn and grow with and just see what works. Um, what she was saying about the search bar thing is something I've been doing lately when I go to my Instagram, and just like I would be scrolling on Instagram normally, we never do that anymore because it's all business stuff. But when you go there and you see all those things, like that is a really, really good place to find people who are like you, because that's the stuff that you're lacking. And for me also, I just wanted to share that I've been finding a lot of things to put in my Instagram stories, like value, because I follow a lot of foodie Instagram handles. And so I see like all kinds of, healthy tips and recipes and stuff like that. And those people who are following those things are going to be my people, but also I can use some of that content. You can take a picture of an Instagram post, edit it, and put that in, like trim it down and put it in your to add. You're scrolling and you're finding like people to follow, like also look for value too, because there's a lot of good stuff in there, because it's going to show you your stuff. So I really like that you said that, Ashley, because I've been doing that a lot lately too. So it was really, really helpful, and I'm excited to try it.
Yay. Well, like I said, you guys, it is going to take time. Like, you have to be consistent with it. You're not just going to like magically grow overnight. But one thing I want to point out too, our good old Success Club tracker that we talk about on almost every team call that we should be using to follow, because it tells you the things you need to do every single day. There's time limits next to each of them. Again, if you don't have as much time in a day to do the times they have, shorten them all. When I was working over the summer, I had more time, so I made those times bigger. But as a base, they have as the first thing on here, initiate connections and add followers for 20 minutes. Literally what we just said to do. So that should be something Beachbody has already told you this is proven to help you hit Success Club, is to be growing your following every single day for 20 minutes a day. And if you don't have 20 minutes, do 10, do 5, do it in between commercials on TV when you're watching TV, or do it when you're watching a movie with the family, like just like pick up your phone and do 5 follows at a time. There's so many different ways that you can go about doing that, but just get some done each day and it will grow over time. One thing I would do too, I usually do, is I screenshot my profile to see how many followers I have. Because then it says like on, Monday, September 9th, this is how many followers I have. And then after a week of doing it, I want to see how many followers I have at the end of that week. Is what I'm doing working? Are people following me back? Or am I looking at the wrong people? And that can really help you gauge like, okay, I need to change up where I'm finding my people or how I'm following them. Like maybe just that hard follow is not good enough. I need to add some connections in there, and I need to like some of their pictures and interact and comment on some of their posts. So that's really good. I definitely use that screenshot for my profile so I can keep track of how many I have. Or even in the notes in your phone, just do like September 9th dash and then how many followers you have on Instagram, and then check again in a week, check again in a week, check again in a week. Because when you look at it daily, it doesn't seem to be growing, but over a week or 2 or a month, you'll definitely notice some changes. A couple questions really quick. How to look for your people. So that's those 5 things about you, 5 or 6 things about you from one of the team calls. Just like for me, I'm a teacher, so I'm looking for other teachers, people that look like teachers, or I'm pregnant, so any pregnancy pictures in the little profiles in those little circles. I'm looking for pregnancy, or even a mom holding a baby, or a mom with her kids. That would be my type of people. Even still, I probably will still look for girls in a wedding dress because I'm married, and they're probably getting ready to start their family journey and going through that part in their life as well. Like Joy is a runner, so maybe she's looking for people that have running a running profile picture or something like that where it looks like they went running. You know, just anything that has to do with you that you relate to. Like, I don't know, Hannah, I feel like you probably wouldn't want somebody in, I mean, you can look for people in a wedding dress or whatever, but I feel like you just have such a style. Like you have tattoos, and like that's so cool and unique about you. Like you want to look for those people. Those are your people. Like who would you be friends with? You know, like who would you hang out with? That's the person you want to look for. Like if you're like, oh, that girl looks weird, then don't follow her because you don't want her. She's not your people. You want to look for those people that you would literally go get coffee with down the road or hang out with, or, you know, whatever. And then these Success Club trackers are in the back office. If you just search the FAQ or search like the search bar, Success Club system, Success Club tracker, they'll be back there. Any other questions? Okay. Well, if you have more questions, you guys can feel free. I'm going to post the recording in my team page. I'm going to send it to Joy for you guys as well. You can always comment on that, or just message us or just message me, even Joy's coaches. You guys can feel free to message me if you have more questions on growing your Instagram or different ways to do it, or anything like that. If anything pops up after the fact, feel free to let us know. Okay. Well, Joy, did you get a picture? No? Okay, I'll take a picture. Oh, it's dirty. Okay, say cheese. Awesome. Okay, you guys, have a good night. Happy Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. And, oh, next week's team call, you guys, is on the basics of coaching. What did you call it again, Joy? I forget.
Coaching Simplified.
Simplified. Coaching Simplified. So if you need us again to break down coaching, this is definitely what you guys want to be on for this team call, because Joy is going to literally break it down, how to coach, basic 101, simplified, basic. So we will see you guys on Monday next week for that one. I'm really excited. Okay, bye guys.